I'm against it.
Against it.
Yes. Violent video games. In fact, it's not just violent video games. In fact, the government is asking for um, um, there are some how do you call that, regulations against violent toys or guns or things like that, and so probably video games would also fall under that. Personally, I'm against it.
And by the way, my 5-year-old is actually into computers already, the Nintendos, the PS, and all the likes. But and he's into watching TVs. Although I'm trying to limit him already sa may mga guns and everything. Even if they don't look so violent, na hindi naman madugo, no, hindi bloody. Pero gun still is
Guns are supposed to
a
kill.
form of violence pa rin siya. So,
most of what they say is true. However, their distinctions are a little blurred. Perhaps we can compare notes.
It's always been dancing girls and gladiatorial combat. It never changed. It never changed at all. You see dancing girls in noontime shows. You see gladiatorial combat in boxing and other martial arts. So I think it requires also a certain degree of discipline.
Yun, sa Tondo area, ang pinakauso lang ng ay dalawa lang. It's either na Counter-Strike or Dota. Depende rin kasi sa klase ng tao yung kinahiligan nila laro. Pag medyo nakakita rin sila ng mga ibang laro, ayun na yung mga upper class na. Pero yun sa mga Tondo area, kadalasan, yun at yun lang din yung nakikita nila. So, medyo maano mo rin yung types ng mga naglalaro.
Have you heard of the reptilian complex? Video games are actually a way for you to suppress your reptilian complex. The reptilian complex is a part of our brain which, theoretically, is where all of our killer instincts are stored. It's like where our desire to kill is.
It's basically the basic parts of the brain.
Yeah, the most primal parts of the brain.
That can also be cited in reptiles.
Yeah, the most basic part. And video games is said to, instead of bottling it up, your reptilian complex, video games sort of give you that release so that your reptilian complex doesn't get all, angsty, and you get to some sense of release from it.
Like a catharsis.
Yeah, a catharsis. There we go. Perfect. That's a perfect word for it. A catharsis.
Here's a good comparison. This is the Sniperskaya Wintowka Dragonova, also known as the Dragonov sniper rifle. It fires 7.62 by 54mm rounds. I can blow your head clean off and make your brains look like spaghetti with meat sauce thrown onto a wall. It's featured in a lot of games, for example in the Call of Duty Modern Warfare series. But what about the genuine article? There are 3 key points to remember when it comes to real guns. Number 1, they're killing weapons. That should be obvious enough, and if a child cannot get it into his head, then perhaps he needs better education. Number 2, they're not as easy to use as you might think. Shooting guns is just like racing cars, fighting, and having sex. All men think they're good at it, even though they're not. And finally, number 3, it costs money. For example, with the Dragonov sniper rifle, each round costs 150 pesos. And since the Dragonov holds 10 rounds per clip, each magazine will cost you 1,500 pesos. That's an average fast food meal with every pull of the trigger. What about pistols? Let us compare those in a video game and that in real life, like this Colt 1911. In games, we even use Desert Eagles. But as we can see with this Colt 1911, which is only a 45 caliber compared to the 50 caliber Desert Eagle, it already has so much recoil. So what more is a Desert Eagle? It must be said, no matter what biases people may have, let us not mince words for our very lives depend upon truth. There are no definite positive benefits in playing video games. Playing video games is not like taking your vitamins or eating your vegetables. But it's also not like smoking cigarettes or taking drugs. It's more like television, movies, newspapers, magazines, books, and many others. It is a part of mass media. The key word here is responsibility.
That's why it has those crazy ratings. That rating system. Don't mature kids to adults, teen, adults only, or rating pending if the game is still pending. Hindi magwawala ang anak mo bigla at magbabaril sa eskwela pag maganda naman yung environment niya sa bahay to begin with. It's also the duty of the parents to advise the children what games they're ready to buy, what they're ready to buy and not ready to buy.
Ibang generation na ngayon eh, so wala talaga yung security na yun. It depends na rin siguro talaga. It would really depend on the parents, how they discipline their children. Other than that, outside the parents, there is no control.
No one should take less responsibility for it. As I've said, it has to be a joint effort between the school, the parents, the students themselves, and of course the shop operators have to be responsible. Like gambling, anything that is addictive is not good. Technology in itself is okay. Advances in technology helps us a lot, pero there are a lot of things that we have to learn how to control, especially the young kids.
Mag-ingat kayo sa mga group naglalaro ng Counter-Strike, lalo na kung sila yung mga mukhang tambay. Kasi sila yung pinaka-trouble.
Good thing about games, you can be anyone you want to be. The problem is, it's not reality.
It's just a game. Don't take it too seriously. Don't think that everything you see is real. Because, you play. And it's supposed to entertain you, not make you worse. It's supposed to be recreation.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not endangering their lives by interviewing the driver.
Don't worry. I am pretty much a good driver.